I used to believe family was forever. That blood meant something. Well, that was before I learned what it feels like to be erased from your own family's story. My name's Caden Hart, the middle child, the quiet one, the one who always showed up when needed, then faded back into the background while my brother Lucas soaked up all the spotlight. It wasn't always obvious. My parents would say things like, "We love all our children equally," but their actions told a different story. Lucas got the new car for graduation. I got a used laptop. Lucas got the master bedroom. I shared with our cousin when he visited. Little things that pile up over time. That night at dinner, when Lucas announced he was getting married in Paris, you should have seen my parents' faces light up like Christmas trees. Paris! Oh my goodness. Mom clasped her hands together. How romantic. Dad was already talking about hotels and flights, pulling up his phone to look at dates. "We're thinking spring," Lucas said, his arm around Tessa, his fiancée. "The weather will be perfect." I remember smiling, genuinely happy for my brother despite everything. Paris in spring sounds amazing. Nobody acknowledged I'd spoken. Not unusual. "We'll need to book everything soon," Dad said. "Flights to Paris don't come cheap, especially for the whole family." I perked up at that. The whole family. That included me. For once, I'd be part of something special. A family trip to Paris for my brother's wedding. I'd never been overseas before. None of us had. Except Lucas during his study abroad semester, that my parents somehow afforded, despite claiming money was tight when I asked about college options. "I can help with planning," I offered, louder this time. "My schedule's pretty flexible." Mom glanced at me, then back to Lucas. "We'll handle everything, honey. Don't worry." That night, I went online and looked at Paris attractions. The Eiffel Tower, Notre Dame, the Louvre. For once, I'd be in those family photos, standing beside everyone else, included. Little did I know, I was already being cropped out. Before I continue my story, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt invisible to the people who should see you the most? If you have, you'll feel what happens next deep in your soul. Hit subscribe right now. Because stories like this remind us that sometimes the people who hurt us most are the ones who should have protected us. You're not alone in this pain. 2 weeks after the big announcement, our family group chat exploded with wedding talk. Hotels, outfits, sightseeing plans, everyone buzzing with excitement. "Found this cute boutique hotel near the Seine," my sister posted. "Already reserved rooms at the Grand Paris. 5 stars, breakfast included," Dad replied. I typed, "When exactly are we going? Need to request time off work." No response. Not even those typing bubbles that show someone's about to answer. I tried again the next day. "Anyone know which airport we're flying into?" Nothing. By the 3rd day of being ignored, that familiar knot formed in my stomach, the one that appears when you realize you're shouting into a void. I sent a direct message to Mom instead. "Hey, just checking about the Paris plans. Seems like everyone's ignoring me in the group chat." 3 hours later, her reply, "Everyone's just busy, honey. Don't take it personally." But they weren't too busy to respond to each other. Just to me. A week passed, then 2. The group chat continued without me, like I was watching a movie through a window. I saw them discussing matching outfits for the rehearsal dinner, coordinating arrival times, sharing excitement about French cuisine. Then came the email that confirmed what I already suspected. "Caden, honey, about the wedding. There was a mix-up with your plane ticket. We forgot to add you to the booking list, and now everything's sold out. Don't take it personally. It was just an oversight." My hands trembled as I called her immediately. "Mom, how do you forget one person's ticket? One person out of the entire family?" The sigh on the other end wasn't apologetic. It was annoyed. "Caden, you know how busy things are. It's not like we meant to exclude you. Besides, it's just one wedding. Just one wedding, my brother's wedding, in Paris. The trip I'd been looking forward to for months." Can't you find another flight, even if it's more expensive? Everything's booked solid. It's a busy season. Her voice hardened. Maybe this is for the best. You and Lucas don't exactly get along anyway. That's when I knew for certain. This wasn't a mistake. This was deliberate. And that knowledge broke something inside me that would never fully heal. I almost believed them. Almost convinced myself it was just a mistake, that my own family wouldn't deliberately cut me out of my brother's wedding. Then my phone buzzed with a notification from my Aunt Carol. Can't wait to see everyone next week. The message came with an attachment. When I opened it, my stomach dropped. It was a photo from what appeared to be a fancy restaurant. Crystal glasses, white tablecloths, champagne bottles. Around the table sat my entire family, parents, Lucas and Tessa, cousins, even my great-uncle who needs help walking. Everyone was dressed in their Sunday best, raising glasses in a toast. The caption read, "Pre-Paris planning brunch, 10 days until we're off." I zoomed in, thinking maybe I'd missed myself somehow. But no, everyone was there except me. My fingers went numb as I stared at that photo. This wasn't a casual lunch. This was an organized event, planned, deliberate. 3 minutes later, my aunt texted again. "Oh, Caden, I'm so sorry. That wasn't meant for you. Your mom said you couldn't afford the trip, so they didn't include you in the plans." I couldn't afford it? I reread that text 10 times, trying to make sense of it. They hadn't even asked me. Never once mentioned cost. Just decided I was too poor to join, then lied about forgetting my ticket. The next message came quickly. "Please don't tell your mom I sent this. She made us all promise not to make you feel bad about not coming." How considerate of them. I called my cousin Ryan, the only one who occasionally sided with me. He picked up on the third ring, his voice immediately dropping to a whisper. "I can't talk long. I'm at your parents' house." Did they really tell everyone I couldn't afford Paris? The silence told me everything. "Ryan? Look, they said you're always struggling with money, and they didn't want to put you in an awkward position. My yearly salary was actually higher than Lucas's. I had savings, no debt. And everyone just accepted that? We didn't know what to believe, Caden." I hung up, a strange calm settling over me. In that moment, something shifted inside me. Not anger, not even sadness anymore, just clarity. I wouldn't beg for a seat at a table where I was never wanted. That night, I made my decision. No dramatic confrontations, no tearful accusations, just silence. By morning, I had deleted the family group chat, blocked their numbers, and deactivated my social media accounts. I emptied my apartment in 2 days, leaving no forwarding address with my roommate. "Where are you going?" she asked as I loaded my last box. "Somewhere new," was all I said. 3 states away, I found a small apartment with a month-to-month lease. Changed my phone number, set up mail forwarding to a P.O. box. And just like that, Caden Hart vanished. The first month was the hardest. I'd reach for my phone to text my mom about something funny that happened at work, only to remember, the habit of family, even a family that hurt you, is hard to break. Christmas came and went. My birthday. No one knew where to send cards. Of course, they tried to find me. Emails flooded an account I rarely checked. "Caden, where are you? We're worried sick." "Mom, this isn't funny anymore. Call home." "Dad, whatever we did, we're sorry. Just let us know you're alive." Lucas. Each message ignored, each apology too late. I worked 2 jobs that first year, receptionist by day, online customer service by night. Every extra dollar went into online marketing courses. Every free hour spent building my portfolio, networking, learning. Sleep became a luxury. Friends became acquaintances I kept at arm's length. Dating was non-existent. There was only the work, and the silence. Some nights were harder than others, times when the loneliness felt like it might swallow me whole, when I'd wonder if cutting everyone off was too extreme. But then I'd remember that photo, their smiling faces around that table, the lie they told about me being too poor to attend, the ease with which they erased me, and I'd get back to work. By the end of that first year away, the pain had hardened into something else, determination. They thought I wasn't good enough? Fine. I would become someone they couldn't ignore, someone they would regret losing, someone who didn't need them anymore. Pain can be fuel if you know how to burn it. By year 2 of my disappearance, I'd turned my marketing side gig into a full-time job at a boutique agency. My boss noticed my hunger, the way I worked twice as hard as everyone else, stayed latest, arrived earliest. "You work like someone's chasing you," she said one evening. She wasn't wrong. I was running from my past while racing toward a future where I'd never be overlooked again. I threw myself into every project, absorbed every skill. Website design, social media strategy, crisis management. I made myself indispensable. Then came the turning point. A luxury watch brand needed emergency help after their marketing director quit mid-campaign. My boss was on vacation. "I can handle it," I told the company president, despite having no experience with luxury accounts. For 3 days straight, I barely slept, researched their competitors, rebuilt their campaign, presented a strategy that focused on heritage and exclusivity rather than just wealth. The client loved it. "You understand our brand better than people who've been here for years." That account tripled in value within 6 months. My commission check had more zeros than I'd ever seen. My boss promoted me to senior strategist. "You've got a gift for understanding what people truly want," she told me. That's when I realized my childhood as the forgotten child had taught me to observe, to read rooms, to notice what people craved. Being invisible had become my superpower. By year 3, I was headhunted by a larger agency, then another. Each move brought bigger clients, better pay, more respect in the industry. Still no contact with family. Their emails eventually slowed, then stopped. I checked their social media occasionally through anonymous accounts, saw the Paris wedding photos, holidays, birthdays. Life went on without me. And honestly, it hurt less each time I looked. You know what hurts the most? Not what they did, but that I still tried to make them proud after everything. If you've ever given people too many chances, you already understand this pain. Don't just scroll, subscribe. Join people who've been through it too, because you deserve stories that make you feel seen. 5 years. That's how long it took to build a life they couldn't dismiss. At 29, I didn't just work at an agency anymore, I owned one. Hart Media Group specialized in luxury brand management and high-profile crisis control. We had offices in 2 cities, 28 employees, a client list that made competitors nervous. My days consisted of strategy meetings, client lunches, and signing contracts. My nights were spent in upscale restaurants with business partners or alone in my downtown penthouse, looking out at city lights that no longer intimidated me. Then came the email that changed everything. It arrived on a Tuesday morning while I was reviewing quarterly projections. The subject line hit me like a physical blow. New client opportunity, Le Grand Paris Hotel Group. I clicked it open. The hotel chain wanted fresh PR management for their flagship location, the same hotel where Lucas and Tessa had gotten married 5 years ago. "They're hosting several high-profile events this season," my assistant explained, including a vow renewal ceremony for a couple who got married there 5 years ago. My mouth went dry. "What's the couple's name?" She checked her notes. "Lucas and Tessa Hart." I laughed, not from humor, from the pure absurdity of the universe's timing. "Schedule a meeting," I told her. "I'll handle this account personally." That night, I researched my brother and his wife for the first time in years. Their social media told a different story than their financial records, which my business connections easily accessed. Their posts showed luxury vacations, designer clothes, expensive restaurants. But the truth? Lucas's architecture firm had lost 3 major clients in the past year. Tessa's lifestyle blog was hemorrhaging followers. They were drowning in credit card debt while maintaining the illusion of success. Yet here they were, planning an extravagant vow renewal in Paris. Classic Lucas, appearance over reality. Just as I closed my laptop, another email arrived. This one directly from my mother. Invitation. Lucas and Tessa's 5-year anniversary gala. Paris. The message was filled with carefully crafted words about family reconciliation and healing old wounds. They wanted me there, after 5 years of silence, after excluding me from the original wedding. I stared at the screen, a plan already forming in my mind. This time I wouldn't be forgotten. This time I'd be unforgettable. Some people think revenge means acting on impulse. They're wrong. Real revenge requires patience, strategy, the willingness to see 10 moves ahead. I responded to my mother's invitation with a single line. I'll be there. Please send details. Her reply came within minutes. Paragraphs of excitement, questions about my life, hopes for healing our family bonds. I left it unanswered. Instead, I called the CEO of Le Grand Paris Hotel Group directly. I'd like to personally handle your account, I told him. And I'd like to propose an expansion to our contract, a PR campaign on family truth that launches during your upcoming events. He was intrigued. What's the angle? How public images often hide private realities. The gap between what families show the world and what happens behind closed doors. The timing couldn't have been better. A celebrity family scandal had just broken, making headlines worldwide. The topic was trending. We'll host a panel discussion on family dynamics the night of the heart anniversary, I suggested. Invite psychology experts, journalists. Make Le Grand Paris a thought leader on authentic relationships. He loved it. Signed the expanded contract that afternoon. Next, I booked my stay, not at Le Grand Paris, but at their luxury competitor across the street. A petty move? Perhaps. But I wanted my family to know I could afford better than their choice. I had my team compile more detailed reports on Lucas and Tessa's finances. The picture wasn't pretty. 3 mortgages on their house, maxed credit cards, a business loan coming due. They were 1 bad month away from collapse, yet spending a fortune on this Paris show. My last task was the hardest, composing my RSVP to Lucas. After 5 drafts, I settled on professional detachment. Lucas, I've accepted the invitation to your anniversary celebration. I'll arrive in Paris on the 15th and depart the 18th. I've arranged my own accommodations. No need to include me in additional activities. See you at the event. Caden. No emotion, no questions, no hint of the hurt or the plan forming in my mind. When he responded with a rambling message about missing me and so much to catch up on, I didn't reply. Chess players don't announce their strategies, they just make their moves. Paris in spring looked exactly like the postcards. Beautiful, romantic, timeless. I stepped off the private car at my hotel, wearing a tailored black suit that cost more than my first month's rent 5 years ago. The concierge recognized me immediately. Ms. Hart, welcome to Paris. Your suite is ready, and the champagne you requested has been chilled. A message awaited me in my room. My family had arranged a welcome dinner at Le Grand Paris that evening. My mother had added a personal note. We can't wait to see you, sweetheart. It's been too long. 5 years of silence, and suddenly I'm sweetheart again. I arrived at the restaurant 30 minutes late, a calculated move. Let them wonder if I'd show up at all. The moment I walked in, conversation stopped. My mother's wine glass froze midway to her lips. My father stood abruptly, knocking his napkin to the floor. Lucas's jaw literally dropped. I'd changed since they last saw me. Gone was the uncertain girl with the bargain clothes and nervous smile. In her place stood a woman in a designer dress, with perfect posture and cold confidence. "Caden?" My mother recovered first, rushing toward me with arms outstretched. "Oh my God, look at you!" I allowed the hug but didn't return it. "Hello, Mother." Lucas approached next. "Sis, you look different. Amazing, but different." 5 years will do that, I replied, my voice pleasant but distant. The dinner that followed was a masterclass in awkward conversation. They peppered me with surface-level questions about my life, which I answered vaguely. They shared stories about family events I'd missed, pretending my absence was temporary rather than deliberate. Not once did anyone mention the wedding I wasn't invited to. Not once did anyone apologize for the lies. "So, tell us about your business," my father finally asked. "Your mother found your company website. Seems like you're doing well for yourself." The understatement of the century. My company had just been valued at 8 figures. "It's going fine," I said simply. "I handle PR for some interesting clients." Including this hotel, I thought, but didn't say. Knowledge is power. Throughout dinner, I watched them closely, the way Tessa checked her phone nervously, how Lucas's smile tightened whenever money was mentioned, my parents exchanging glances when they thought I wasn't looking. They were worried about something. Good. Because behind my pleasant smile, I was gathering ammunition for the main event. Truth has a way of finding more truth, like magnets drawn to each other. The morning after our uncomfortable family dinner, I received a text from my cousin Ryan. "Coffee? Just the two of us. There's stuff you should know." We met at a small cafe away from the tourist spots. Ryan looked different, older, with shadows under his eyes I didn't remember. "I'm sorry," were his first words, "for not standing up for you back then." I shrugged. "Water under the bridge." "No, it's not." His fingers tapped nervously on his cup. "The way they treated you, it wasn't right. And it wasn't just about the wedding." For the next hour, Ryan filled me in on 5 years of family dynamics, how my mother had spun a tale about my mental breakdown to explain my disappearance, how they'd claimed I was unstable and needed space. "And everyone believed that?" I asked. "Not everyone. Your Aunt Carol never bought it." Aunt Carol, the one who accidentally sent me that revealing photo years ago. "She's in Paris too, you know," Ryan said, "staying at the same hotel as you." That afternoon I met Carol in the hotel garden. She hugged me tight, tears in her eyes. "I've been hoping you'd come back and set things straight," she said. "Your mother's been controlling the narrative for too long." Carol had kept records, text messages where my mother discussed deliberately excluding me, emails about the burden I represented, even photos of family gatherings where they'd tell people I was too busy to attend. Why would they do this? I asked, the question that had haunted me for 5 years. Carol's answer was simple. Every family has a scapegoat. You refused to play that role, so they punished you. Before I left, she handed me a small USB drive. "Everything I've collected, use it however you need to." As I walked back to my room, pieces clicked into place. Tomorrow was the anniversary gala. Everyone who mattered to my family would be there, the perfect stage. When I finally stood my ground, they called me heartless. But tell me, where were they when I was breaking? If you've ever had to choose peace over people, this channel is your space. Subscribe, not for me, but for every quiet soul who took their power back. The night before the gala, I sat alone in my hotel suite reviewing everything. The evidence from Aunt Carol, the PR campaign materials, the speech I'd prepared. Outside my window, the Eiffel Tower glittered against the night sky. Everything looked magical, peaceful, but inside me was a storm. I opened my laptop to review the technical arrangements one last time. The hotel's event coordinator had enthusiastically agreed to my suggestion of a special presentation during the anniversary speeches. The videographer was briefed to keep rolling no matter what. Everything was set. Yet as midnight approached, doubt crept in. On my phone were old family photos I'd kept despite everything. Lucas and me building sandcastles at the beach. My parents at my high school graduation, looking proud despite giving Lucas the new car that same day. Was I really going to do this? Expose them publicly? Destroy the illusion they'd built? I picked up a photo from my 10th birthday. The cake had my name spelled wrong, Caden instead of Caden. When I pointed it out, my mother had snapped, "It's just a cake." Don't be so sensitive. That same week, they'd spent 3 days getting Lucas's birthday party decorations perfect. Then there was the college fund they'd forgotten to set up for me while paying Lucas's full tuition. The family vacations planned during my final exams. The constant comparisons. Why can't you be more like your brother? Lucas never gives us this much trouble. At least one of our children knows how to make us proud. Each memory strengthened my resolve. This wasn't about one wedding in Paris. This was about a lifetime of being erased. I picked up my phone and called the videographer directly. "About tomorrow's presentation," I said. "I need to confirm you'll have full backup power and recording capabilities." "Absolutely, Ms. Hart. Everything is set as you requested. And you'll keep filming no matter what happens? Even if someone asks you to stop?" He paused. "Is there something I should know?" "Just that tomorrow's event will be memorable. You'll want to capture every moment." After hanging up, I laid out my outfit for the gala, an emerald green dress that cost more than most people's monthly salary. The color of money, the color of envy. Tomorrow, they'd see me, really see me, not as the forgotten daughter or the invisible sister, as the woman who survived them, and who was about to make them remember what they'd thrown away. They say revenge is a dish best served cold, but no one tells you how good it feels to wear it. The emerald dress hugged every curve, its deep green catching the light as I stepped out of the car at Le Grand Paris Hotel. The doorman's eyes widened slightly, the reaction I wanted. Tonight, I wasn't walking in as the forgotten family member. I was making an entrance. The anniversary gala was in the grand ballroom, decorated with white roses and gold accents. A live string quartet played in the corner. Champagne flowed freely. It looked expensive, money my brother didn't have but was spending anyway. Lucas spotted me first, his conversation with an older couple faltering mid-sentence. His eyes tracked me across the room, a mixture of surprise and something else. Was it worry? Fear? "Caden!" My mother rushed over, glass of champagne sloshing dangerously. "You look stunning. That color is perfect on you." The same mother who once told me green made me look sickly. "Thank you," I replied coolly. "The event looks lovely." "We spared no expense," she beamed, gesturing around. "Lucas and Tessa deserve the best." Like I hadn't deserved even a plane ticket 5 years ago. My father approached next, awkwardly patting my shoulder instead of hugging me. "Good to see you making an effort tonight, Caden." Making an effort. As if my absence had been laziness rather than exclusion. Throughout the evening, I moved through the crowd with practiced ease. My years in PR had taught me how to charm strangers, how to make small talk while revealing nothing. I collected compliments like trophies while watching my family from the corner of my eye. They were nervous. Lucas kept checking his phone. Tessa's smile looked pasted on. My parents hovered nearby, clearly monitoring my interactions. Then came the speeches. Lucas thanked everyone for coming, his voice catching as he talked about the importance of family. My mother wiped away tears. My father beamed with pride. Tessa took the microphone next, her designer dress glittering under the chandeliers. "What makes a marriage last 5 years isn't just love," she said. looking adoringly at Lucas. It's loyalty, honesty, putting family first, always. The crowd murmured appreciatively. I took a slow sip of champagne, waiting. And now, Tessa continued, we'd love to hear from Lucas's sister, Caden, who's joined us after too long apart. Caden? All eyes turned to me as I stood and smoothed my emerald dress. The stage was set. The audience was waiting. My moment had arrived. The walk to the microphone felt like crossing a bridge I could never return from. Good. I had no desire to go back. I smiled warmly at the crowd, a room full of my family's friends, colleagues, and distant relatives. People who'd been fed lies about me for years. Thank you all for being here tonight, I began, my voice steady. Family celebrations are special, aren't they? They mark the moments we come together, the bonds that can't be broken. My mother relaxed visibly, believing I was playing along with their charade. 5 years ago, I continued, many of you were in Paris for Lucas and Tessa's wedding. A beautiful event, I'm told, though I wouldn't know firsthand. A confused murmur rippled through the crowd. You see, 5 years ago, my family told me there wasn't room for me on their flight to Paris. They said they forgot to book my ticket, but that wasn't true. My mother's champagne glass froze halfway to her lips. Lucas straightened in his chair. They didn't forget me, I said, my voice gaining strength. They excluded me, and the reason? They told everyone I couldn't afford it, that I was too poor to join the celebration. The crowd's whispers grew louder. Caden, my father warned, that's enough. Actually, no, it's not enough, I replied, removing my phone from my clutch, because I think it's time everyone heard the truth. I nodded to the tech person at the back who I'd briefed earlier. The lights dimmed slightly, and the large projection screen behind me flickered to life. The first image appeared, my mother's email about the mix-up with my ticket. Then Tessa's message about things being hectic and how it was for the best that I didn't come. Next came the group photo from their pre-departure brunch, with everyone present except me. Then my aunt's accidental message revealing they'd told everyone I couldn't afford the trip. Voice recordings played, my mother telling someone that Caden just doesn't fit with the image we want for the wedding. My father agreeing that it's easier without her there. With each piece of evidence, the room grew quieter. Horrified faces turned toward my family. My mother had gone pale. Lucas was whispering furiously to Tessa, who looked like she might be sick. The final slide was simple, a photo of me alone at Christmas, the same year they'd all been in Paris without me. When the lights came back up, I looked directly at my stunned family. Some people build their happiness on lies, I said softly. I just came to return the favor. I placed the microphone down gently and turned to leave. Caden, wait, Lucas called out, standing. You don't understand. I paused, looking back at him one last time. I understand perfectly, and now, so does everyone else. Then I walked out, head high, emerald dress catching the light. Behind me, chaos erupted, voices raised in shock, accusations, questions. The videographer kept filming, just as instructed. My work was done. They say news travels fast in the digital age. Revenge travels faster. By the time I returned to my hotel room that night, my phone was already buzzing with notifications. Someone at the gala had recorded my presentation on their phone. Within hours, clips were spreading across social media platforms. Family publicly exposed at Paris anniversary. PR executive reveals 5-year family betrayal. Wedding drama, the sister they forgot, returns with receipts. I ordered room service, kicked off my heels, and watched the chaos unfold from my king-sized bed. Commentary poured in, the way she stayed so calm while ending them. Queen. That family did her dirty and thought she'd just take it forever. When she walked out in that green dress, iconic. By morning, local French blogs had picked up the story. By afternoon, it had crossed international waters. The video had been viewed over 2 million times. Then came the business fallout. My assistant called with updates. Lucas's architecture firm lost the Westbrook development deal. Their investors pulled out this morning, citing character concerns. One by one, the dominoes fell. 3 of Tessa's major brand partnerships terminated their contracts, calling the scandal inconsistent with their family-focused values. My parents' country club friends were suddenly too busy for their weekly golf games. Meanwhile, my company's phone lines wouldn't stop ringing. Everyone wants to know if we're taking new clients, my VP of Operations reported. They're calling you the Phoenix Sister, rising from the ashes to reclaim your power. I gave one brief statement to a journalist who'd been persistent but respectful. Family relationships are complex. Sometimes the truth needs light to heal. That quote appeared in headlines worldwide the next day. My parents attempted damage control with a rushed social media apology, claiming there had been misunderstandings on all sides and that they deeply loved all their children. The comment section shredded them apart. Lucas and Tessa remained silent, their social media accounts suddenly private. I spent the remainder of my Paris trip touring art galleries alone, eating at Michelin-starred restaurants, and finalizing new business contracts. The irony wasn't lost on me. The city that was supposed to exclude me had become the backdrop for my greatest triumph. 5 years ago, they'd made me invisible. Now my face was everywhere, and theirs were the ones people looked away from in disgust. 3 weeks after I returned home from Paris, a letter arrived at my office. Not an email, not a text, an actual handwritten letter, the envelope addressed in my brother's familiar scrawl. I almost threw it away, unopened. Almost. But curiosity won. I sliced the envelope open with a letter opener, settled into my office chair, and began to read. Caden, I don't know where to begin. My life is falling apart. The architecture firm asked me to take a leave of absence. Our biggest clients have walked. The bank is threatening foreclosure on our house. Tessa left last week. Said she didn't sign up for public humiliation. Took half our savings on her way out. Mom and Dad aren't speaking to each other. Dad blames Mom for the whole situation. Says she's the one who insisted you couldn't come to the wedding. Mom says Dad was the one who thought you'd embarrass the family with your shabby clothes. I know you probably don't care about any of this. You shouldn't. We treated you horribly. I treated you horribly. The truth is, I was always jealous of you. You were smarter, more determined. Dad would complain that I wasn't more like you, even while Mom praised me in front of you. It was easier to push you away than admit I'd never measure up. Easier to exclude you than face my own insecurities. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I am asking for a chance to talk. Just once. Just to say in person how sorry I am. Please call me. Lucas. I read it 3 times, searching for manipulation tactics, hidden guilt trips. But it felt genuine, the desperate words of a man who'd lost everything. I didn't call him. Instead, I forwarded scanned copies of the letter to a journalist who'd been working on a feature about toxic family dynamics and estrangement for a major publication. She'd contacted me after the Paris incident, asking if I'd share my story anonymously. This might help illustrate your article, I wrote. No names needed. 2 weeks later, her piece went viral. The Forgotten Ones, How Family Scapegoats Reclaim Their Power. Lucas's letter featured prominently, with identifying details changed. The article spawned podcasts, talk show discussions, support groups. Thousands shared similar stories of family betrayal and exclusion. My silent revenge had become a movement. People often ask if I regret what I did in Paris, if exposing my family publicly was too harsh, if I ever considered forgiveness instead. My answer is always the same. Regret requires shame, and I refuse to feel ashamed for telling the truth. It's been 1 year since the gala. My company has expanded to 3 countries. We recently landed a contract with a global luxury brand worth 8 figures. My team has grown to 50 people, all of whom know my story and respect the strength it took to create something from nothing. Meanwhile, my family's lives continued to unravel. Lucas eventually sold their house and moved to a smaller city. My parents separated, though they haven't divorced. Appearances still matter too much. Tessa remarried quickly to someone with more money and fewer family complications. They still try to contact me occasionally. Birthday cards, holiday messages. My mother sent flowers when our company won a major industry award. I don't respond. Not from anger anymore, but from peace. I've built boundaries that protect the life I've created. Some might call it holding a grudge. I call it self-preservation. The strangest outcome of all this? The thousands of messages I've received from people with similar stories. The middle child always overlooked. The daughter who didn't fit the family image. The son whose achievements were dismissed while his siblings were celebrated. Your story gave me courage, they write. I finally stood up for myself. That's the thing about family wounds. They're universal. We all know what it feels like to be the odd one out, even if just for a moment. To wonder if we belong. To question our worth in the eyes of those who should love us unconditionally. The difference is what we do with that pain. Some let it destroy them. Some use it as an excuse to hurt others. Some pretend it doesn't exist. I chose to transform mine into power. Not the power to hurt those who hurt me, though I won't pretend that didn't feel satisfying in the moment, but the power to create a life so full and rich that their absence became irrelevant. That's the sweetest revenge, not needing revenge at all. Because sometimes, the best response to people who made you feel small isn't to tear them down. It's to rise so high they can't reach you anymore. Sometimes revenge isn't about payback, it's about peace. And if this story touched you, subscribe right now. Because somewhere out there, another person is watching in silence, needing a reminder that they're not alone, and your one click might help them find it.